What's going on, everybody? Project Rod here, and welcome to the Rodcast, the Monster Truck Fanatic podcast, which is your ultimate destination for all things monster trucks, whether you're a die-hard Monster Jam fan, a passionate follower of the sport, or just an avid player of the Monster Jam or Monster Truck-related video games. This is the podcast for you. Once again, I am your host, Project Rod, and we are on episode 10 of the Rodcast. I definitely had something way better planned for this episode. Unfortunately, I was just completely swamped with time, and this past week was World Finals 3 for the Steel Titans 2 series, and then we had Showdown release for, if you got the Big Air Edition, which I got, you had early access on Monday to play the game, so I live streamed that for about 5 hours, and between editing and everything for World Finals 3, getting everything in at the very last second and ready for upload, I was just not able to get any scheduling done for the podcast for this week. So unfortunately, it's just going to be me. I'm going to be writing solo today, and hopefully next week I can get something better going and definitely have a guest on the podcast. But for now, on this episode, we're going to be talking about World Finals 3, kind of a quick recap, and then talking about the Showdown series that's just right around the corner. So let's go ahead and get started with the recap of World Finals 3. And again, the last chance qualifier was right before the main event of the competition. So we had Doomsday, Ice Cream Man, and Monster Mud Husky, who were the bottom three of the Arena Series, battle it out in a double elimination racing bracket for the 15th and final spot in World Finals 3. And before we had the double elimination race, we had qualifying where Ice Cream Man and Nick Voorhees was on top with a 23.25. Monster Mud Husky and Nitro Studios was in second with a 24.09, and Doomsday and MMJ Producer was in third with a 24.39. He would have been in first because his first time was a 23.05. Unfortunately, he had a 3-second penalty, which gave him a 26.05 for that attempt, and it put him in last place because his second attempt was slower than the rest. So not that it really mattered too much because it was a double elimination racing bracket. All that did was just put Ice Cream Man a little bit further up in the bracket, or really just the next round, if I'm being honest. So didn't make too much of a difference. Wasn't really do or die when it came to it. But moving on to racing, the double elimination racing bracket, it was Doomsday and Monster Mud Husky starting it off, where Doomsday would be on top and move on to the next round to face Ice Cream Man. Monster Mud Husky would move down to the loser bracket to see who he would face between Ice Cream Man and Doomsday. And not singling anybody out, not calling Monster Mud Husky a loser. That's just the way it's classified because it's a double elimination racing bracket. So when it came down to the race of Ice Cream Man and Doomsday, Doomsday came out on top. It was a very close race, but Doomsday came out on top and took that win away from Ice Cream Man. So Ice Cream Man moved down to the loser bracket to face Monster Mud Husky, and this was a do or die sudden death racing match because it was a double elimination. They both had one loss at this point, so whoever lost this one was completely out. And in really a great fashion, I mean, over a second and a half time difference, Ice Cream Man knocked out Monster Mud Husky out of the competition to race Doomsday another time. Monster Mud Husky, a very unfortunate, but he was eliminated at that point and would no longer compete. So now it came down to Doomsday. If he could get one more win, he was in. He was the 15th and final spot. If Ice Cream Man got a win, he would have one more chance at going to the World Finals 3 competition, where at this point Ice Cream Man was the one who came out victorious and would race Doomsday one more time. So now this time it was sudden death for both drivers, MMJ Producer and Doomsday, and Nick Voorhees and Ice Cream Man. This was their final shot to go into World Finals 3, and it was a photo finish race. We had to go down to the slow-mo, and in a nail-biter, and all this was live, so it was amazing being able to see everybody's reactions, but in a nail-biter final race, it was Doomsday who came out on top and earned that 15th and final spot in World Finals 3, won with a 24.39. Ice Cream Man had a 24.44, so Ice Cream Man and Monster Mud Husky, amazing seasons. Unfortunately, they were cut at this point in time. Now, immediately after the last chance qualifier event, we had qualifying for World Finals 3. Now, before I get started on the qualifying numbers and who won, I just wanted to give you a recap of where we were in terms of the points. I'm going to give you the points totals for the top 4, and then the rest, I'm just going to go down the list. That way I don't drag on with numbers. So, Dragon was still on top with 220. Monster Mud Dalmatian was in second with 205. Bakugan was in fourth with 197. And Megalodon was in fourth with 194. These were all the closest ones in terms of numbers. Now, moving down the list, we had Northern Nightmare in fifth, Blue Thunder in 6th, Max D in 7th, Earthshaker in 8th, Soldier Fortune in 9th, Alien Invasion in 10th, and Crush Station in 11th place. This is the bracket that we followed, or the lineup order that we followed for qualifying and really the rest of the events as a whole for World Finals 3. So Dragon was the very last one. Crush Station was it wasn't Crush Station who was the first one, because after Crush Station it was El Toro Loco, Gravedigger, Captain's Curse, and then MMJ Producers and Doomsday. So Doomsday led off every single event for World Finals 3. And in qualifying, it was none other than your reigning World Finals 2 racing champion, Ethan Waters, and Max D, who came out with a lightning fast time of a 21.75. Bakugan Dragonoid was in second with a 21.92, and Megalodon in third with a 22.05. So, given that it was a 15-truck lineup, there was only one spot available for a bye run in the second round. So Max D was the only one with an automatic bye into round 2. Now, before we moved on to racing, we had to do the high jump competition, and very, very unfortunate, but El Toro Loco and Drift Boy 912 was unable to defend his high jump champion title from World Finals 2. He unfortunately was in 4th place. We had a new high jump champion, and that was none other than April Summers in Gravedigger with 70.3 feet, an amazing height. However, Bakugan Dragonoid was right behind her with 70.2, and Megalodon in third with 70.1. So it was extremely close, but April Summers got that by inches, and she is your new World Finals 3 high jump champion. Now, the racing competition, which was an amazing one, mind you, and we all saw it coming. We all saw exactly who would be in that final race, but I promise you, none of you guessed who would be the second person in that championship race. Now, before I get to that, I'm going to go ahead and go round for round and race per race here in this part of the segment. So, leading us off for the competition as a whole was Soldier Fortune and Earthshaker, where Earthshaker came out on top to race Max D, the fastest qualifier in round 2. Gravedigger against Doomsday, where Gravedigger came out victorious. Dragon against Blue Thunder, where Blue Thunder came out on top. Megalodon against El Toro Loco, with Meg getting the win. Alien Invasion and Northern Nightmare, a rematch of the World Finals 1 Racing Championship, where, once again, Northern Nightmare came out on top to move to round 2. Captain's Curse against Monster Dalmatian, the top 2 racers of each series, where Captain's Curse, of course, got the win over Monster Dalmatian, and in the last race of round 1 was Crush Station and Bakugan, where Bakugan got the win. Now, moving on to round 2, we had Max D, the fastest qualifier, racing against Earthshaker, who ended up getting the win and knocking out the fastest qualifier, so we would not have a back-to-back racing champion. Gravedigger and Blue Thunder would race next, where Blue Thunder came out on top. Megalodon would race Northern Nightmare, where Megalodon would come out on top, so we wouldn't have another racing champion get another win, because Northern Nightmare was World Finals 1 racing champion. He was out, so for World Finals 3, that meant we would have a brand new racing champion. The last race of round 2 was Captain's Curse against Bakugan Dragonoid, where Captain's Curse, of course, would get the win and move on to the semifinal round. So in these semifinals, we had Earthshaker versus Blue Thunder, where Earthshaker would shock the world and in a photo finish race would beat Blue Thunder and move on to the championship round to race the winner of the race between Megalodon and Captain's Curse, where Captain's Curse would have an easy win and a fast win over Megalodon. So the last 2 trucks out of the 15-truck lineup were Earthshaker and Angel Garcia, and Captain's Curse and Crazy Monster Jam Fan. And wouldn't you know it, Captain's Curse and Crazy Monster Jam Fan would increase and continue that amazing winning streak and be your World Finals 3 racing champion. So a huge congratulations to him. And so far, the Arena Series trucks had 2 championships under their belt or under their shoes or whatever the saying is. I don't even think it's under their shoes. But bottom line, they had 2 championships already where nobody in the Stadium Series had anything, given that the fastest qualifier isn't really a championship. It's just kind of something to brag about, if you will. It's kind of a bragging rights thing. So there were 2 competitions left, which were Skills and Freestyle, where Skills was an amazing one to say the least, and a little controversial depending on how you look at it, but it was Blue Thunder and Action Phil who came out on top with an amazing attempt of a wheelie into a front flip, perfectly landed, perfectly executed, followed by some of the longest bicycle we've ever seen. And it was, it was a little back and forth, and he almost lost it at some point, but he kept it going, and that's really what gave him the win in the end. Bakugan Dragonoid was in second place with a 9.218, and El Toro Loco was in third with a 9.216. So it was an amazing skills competition overall, and huge congratulations to Action Phil and Blue Thunder for their first World Finals championship in skills. Now, this was the final competition, the one that everybody was looking forward to, and honestly, one of my longest videos of all time at 48 minutes. Freestyle. And it was amazing, to say the least. We saw a lot of amazing runs, a lot of amazing moves. Really, the one that stood out to me the most was El Toro Loco and Driftboy 912. Had some kind of weird torpedo move. It was amazing, to say the least. Definitely one to check out. But in the end, again, this was kind of a controversial one, but in the end, Megalodon and Brandon Thunder won freestyle in Oakland for World Finals 3 and is your new World Finals freestyle champion. He won it with a 40. Northern Nightmare was in second place with a 39, so he came close. He had an amazing run. He had a front flip. He had like an awkward backflip off of the center jump that was used for high jump. I mean, it was amazing. All in all, definitely a competition to check out, and definitely a great video to watch, because there was some amazing wow moments in this freestyle competition. Now, after all that was said and done, we still had to crown a Stadium Series Season 3 champion. And it was no secret that Northern Nightmare would no longer have that title after going back to back. He was not going to be able to reclaim that throne. Now, before I get to that, let me let you know, Bakugan Dragonoid was in line to be the event champion for World Finals 3 and was in line to be the winner of the Stadium Series in Season 3. And Daniel, I know you're listening. I'm going to have to do it to you. But Daniel San Diego Murray unfortunately lost it again, because Megalodon was your event champion for World Finals 3, which gave him 5 extra bonus points on top of the 15 points he got in freestyle to have a final total point count of 264 points, getting that first place spot in the overall leaderboards for the Stadium Series and being your new Steel Titans 2 Stadium Series champion. Bakugan Dragonoid was in second with 255, Dragon in third with 250, Dalmatian in fourth with 233, Blue Thunder and Northern Nightmare tied for fifth with 230, Max D in seventh with 206, Earthshaker in eighth with 183, Soldier Fortune in ninth with 167, Alien Invasion in 10th with 163, and Crush Station in 11th with 117. So huge congratulations to all of our winners. Doomsday and MMJ Producer for being the last chance qualifier winner, Max D and Ethan Waters for being the fastest qualifier, April Summers and Gravedigger for being the new high jump champion, Captain's Curse and Crazy Monster Jam Fan for being the new racing champion, Action Phil and Blue Thunder for being the skills champion, and Megalodon for being the freestyle World Finals champion. And then can't forget about Driftboy 912 and El Toro Loco for being the Season 3 Arena Series champion. And then, of course, Megalodon and Brandon Thunder being the Season 3 Stadium Series champion. So huge congratulations to every single one of them. And before I finish talking about World Finals 3, we had some amazing encores. We had an encore from Daniel Murray coming out on El Toro Loco, pulling off a double bullbucker. Then we had Angel Garcia and Earthshaker come out during high jump to do a move he calls the, oh my goodness, it was I butchered it in the actual video, I said the Richter, but I think it's the Richter, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. It was a wheelie into a backflip. It was amazing. Definitely check it out. Then we had April Summers come out and debut Sparkle Smash, where she did a forward momentum backflip. And then Matt Johnson, one of the judges and also the owner of Heavy Metal Monsters, so be sure to check him out. He's going to be having a league out here soon. A great friend of mine, so huge shout out to Matt Johnson for coming out and pulling off a double backflip in Jurassic Attack. It was amazing. And you would everybody loved my reaction to it because I was just in awe. It was just amazing to see it, and honestly very proud of him because that was an amazing moment. One of the best highlights out of the whole competition. So again, huge shout out to Matt and really to everybody for coming out and putting out an amazing encore. And really to cap off freestyle, we had an encore with Taz 2009, who was a judge, Daniel Murray, who was the driver of Bakugan Dragonoid, MMJ Producer, who was the driver of Doomsday, and April Summers, who was the driver of Gravedigger. Those 4 came out and sent us off in an amazing combo encore, and April Summers jumped over MMJ Producer, Taz 2009, and Daniel Murray. Everybody was driving Megalodon. It was kind of a send-off into Showdown because Megalodon was one of the main mascots for Showdown, and honestly, it was perfect because Megalodon ended up being the freestyle champion and the Stadium Series champion. So that was just an amazing coincidence, but it was an amazing send-off. Definitely another encore to check out. So huge shout out to them and thank you to them for that, because honestly, one of my favorite encores has been that as well. All in all, season 3 was amazing. It was phenomenal. Thank you to everybody who was involved. Thank you to everybody who watched. I had a absolute blast, and I did say that season 3 was the final season of the Steel Titans 2 series, but I think after season 1 of the Showdown series, we may return for season 4 and kind of go in an alternating schedule between Steel Titans and Showdown. So definitely kind of up in the air right now, but if you'd like to see that, let me know and we can definitely make it happen. So that's going to be enough for the Steel Titans 2 series. Now I'm going to discuss the Showdown series, which we finally have a lineup of 24 competitors ready for the Showdown series, and my series is going to be called the Showdown Champions League. And there's going to be 2 tours, Tour Blue and Tour Violet, each tour having 12 trucks, and we're going to be going to 5 different stops each tour for a total of 10. So it's going to be a 10-week long series, along with an extra week for the World Finals or Championship, depending on how you want to look at it, given that Showdown doesn't have a World Finals map. But as of now, we're looking at qualifying, racing. High jump is going to be taken out because there's no way to gauge that. Skills will most likely turn into best trick, and then freestyle. So the recording schedule, or the upload schedule, is most likely going to change to a 3-day uploads, so we can have qualifying and racing on the same day, skills on one day, and freestyle on another. So that's going to be shifting a lot. But more rules will be coming out. Be sure to check out the Discord and join the Discord for more information. You can see who all is involved, and you can see all the rules and everything going on. And I'm really looking forward to it. As of now, everything's up in the air, but as of now, I do plan on having, it's going to be 5 stops for each tour, and each tour is going to be different maps and different tracks. But I'm thinking of making the halfway point a very tough one, and including a outdoor or an extreme head-to-head and an extreme freestyle track, just to spice things up, just to make it different, especially at the halfway point of this series. That's usually the turning point for a lot of drivers, so definitely going to look forward to that. But World Finals will be a total of, I believe, 16 trucks. So out of the 12, it's going to be 24 total drivers. The top 15 of both of those tours combined will get an automatic bid into the championship at the end, and there's going to be a 16th and final spot that will be an LCQ, where the bottom 9 drivers of both tours will have to race, and it'll most likely be a single elimination racing style, but the winner will get the 16th and final spot in the championship race. And as of now, we're looking at, there's a poll currently on Discord, but right now the winner, or the winning option of that poll, is to have these drivers record just one pass in the lanes, instead of doing multiple passes, just because it's really odd the way that Showdown is laid out. I mean, it's a great game, it's fantastic, I'm loving it, but I do have a few complaints and a few things that I'm not okay with, such as the physics aren't really that great. It's super floaty. The hitboxes on the cars are atrocious. It's like hitting a brick wall, and if you get a little too close to the walls, they tend to suck you in. So hopefully all that gets patched later on, but definitely looking forward to the series as a whole. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it, and we're just all excited, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, I really don't have anything else. I mean, I will throw in my W plug real quick. So again, be better with W Energy. Use code Project Rodride to get 10% off of your W Energy order. Be better with W Energy. Again, guys, Beach and Peach and Galaxy Grenade are my personal favorites. And if you're unsure on trying it, get the starter pack. Definitely one to try if you're unsure. And it gives you multiple flavors. I believe 3 to 4 flavors. It depends on how they're feeling that week, I guess. Sometimes they tend to switch it up. But definitely check it out, guys. Use code Project Rodride again 10% off of your W Energy order. And oh, really quick and exciting news. I did not see this coming, but if you're a fan and if you're familiar with Toucan Plays, he will be in the Showdown series on my channel, as well as on the Heavy Metal Monsters League YouTube channel. So definitely very exciting to have Toucan Plays be a part of this. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have. I don't really have a common question of the day today. Haven't really seen anything new come in, so be sure to leave those down below. But other than that, oh, really quick, with the common question of the day, I'm going to kind of lead off of what I said last week about the award ceremony. We're kind of getting something together with that, kind of have the judges decide and let them choose who like Rookie of the Year is, best freestyle, best skills, best all of that. Gonna have that out here pretty soon. And then we kind of have a surprise event coming out where we're gonna have an all-star challenge where we're gonna pull drivers from all 3 seasons to join and kind of battle it out between 2 teams of 6 for an all-star challenge. So looking forward to that, and hopefully more news on that here soon. But that's it. That's all I have for today, guys. Again, it was a short one. It was kind of all over the place, just poor planning on my part. And hopefully next week I can be a little more organized and have something a little more interesting. Trying to get Ethan Waters on the podcast now, which if you know him, he's a driver of Max D and a very good friend of mine from my early YouTube days. So huge shout out to Ethan Waters, and hope to have him here on the podcast soon. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Again, any questions you have, leave them down below for the common question of the day. Let me know what you guys think of the podcast, what you guys think of the episode, what you guys think of the Showdown series coming up, and what your thoughts were on World Finals 3. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you can rate, awesome. And yeah, that's all I got, guys. And once again, I'm Project Rod, and I'll see you in the next one.